First, with our Flash platform, we have the Flash and Flex. With Flash, we actually have a set of Flash controls where you can actually essentially basically drag and drop everything onto your Flash stage. We have the AS3 API that you can download to and code. And then with Flex, we have just basically the AS3 API, which is an SDK, and you can incorporate that into your application. So what can you do from the Flash and Flex? So you can, both with Flash and Flex, you can publish a Swift file, which goes straight out to the web, or you can actually now, with the new Adobe Air, is create an Air file, which is specifically for your desktop applications. So you can essentially add your telephony and the Ribbit to your desktop applications and not just go through, just say a website or something like that. It can actually be built into a desktop application. So, I want to give you guys a couple examples of these. First one we're going to do is an Air iPhone. This was developed, really cool, neat Air application. As you can see, it looks just like an iPhone. It's got the full scanning. This is all done in Flex. We'll go ahead and slide to unlock. So when they're developing this and putting this together, they didn't really know how to get telephony part, the phone call part to actually happen in here. And yeah, you can, this will unlock here in a second. You can rotate it. You should be able to use a browser and go through and surf the internet, do different things like that. But they chose to go ahead and use Ribbit as the service to actually make phone calls with it and whatnot. So once I'm logged in here, does somebody actually want to call the iPhone number? I can give you the number here. We have t-shirts to give out too, so.
What's the number?
Okay, it's 1, area code 559 354 8400. Cool. Let me turn off sound. Now you can hear this is actually a desktop application and it's ringing through. And so now I can go ahead and answer it. And hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So here we have a connection with the desktop application. So really cool, neat application there. That's pretty straightforward. Another really great idea that the same person came about with is a project called. Hey, come on in.
Thanks.
Here talking about the Ribbit API and incorporating Ribbit into Flash and Flex. So I'm going through a couple examples here. So this example is another Air application. It's called Airfare. And what we can do here, I've already pre-selected kind of a time date of San Francisco. I'll need to stay here during March 7th through the 9th. What this will do is actually pull up a list of hotels. And then when I click on a hotel and details, it will actually highlight the phone number so I can directly dial them from the application. Book a room, do everything from there. So now with your application, usually the dead spot when you're searching for hotels is that you got to the point where there's a phone number. Well, now you need to pick up your phone, dial it. You know, you don't have that interactivity. You're not able to do it through your application. So here we can pull up Travelodge here. Let's see if this is actually ringing through. Wonder if we'll get front desk. I don't really want to make a reservation. But you might go to their automated system. Some, maybe like Hilton or Marriott or something, that might be better to look up. So forth. But you can get a sense of where you can kind of take Ribbit with applications on the web or even with a desktop application. And this is a really good example of a mashup where they're using basically MapQuest. I believe they're using Kayak, which has all the service of searching for hotels, and then using Ribbit to make the phone calls. So a really good example with doing that. The last example I wanted to show you really quick is a site called Say Here. And this was done right before the elections. So people could call in and actually tell who they were voting for and why. And so from this, they actually left a voicemail. Could become very anonymous as to why they were voting for a certain candidate. They have another one in there why they might not be voting. And so with this, people could go back in and actually listen to these voicemails. So if you clicked on one of them, okay, that one wasn't much.
I'm very impressed with how rapidly Barack is building his gallery. I look forward to seeing the synergies that he's building.
So with this, you could actually create like a voice wall where people can call in, actually leave messages. This takes it outside of the just making a phone call with Ribbit. You can actually leave messages, leave voicemails, and there's a lot of different aspects as to what you can do with the Ribbit API. So those were 3 quick examples as to what's been done with Ribbit so far. Obviously, we have a lot more going on and looking for more developers to actually build some really, really cool apps. So how does it work underneath? You know, it looks all pretty and nice and neat, but how does it actually work with Flash and Flex? So with the Flash controls, we won't go through much of that. I want to get into actually the code of incorporating into Flex and the API itself and how easy it is. So with the Flash controls, we came up with these controls mainly for designers so that they were easy for designers to actually incorporate into, say, simple applications that they were doing. They may not be coders, they may not be ready to go ahead and dive into API. So they can easily import these controls into Flash using the extension manager. We provide what we call an MXP file. You double click that and it gets imported into extension manager and it automatically gets imported into Flash. So the next time you go into Flash, you have all the controls there. You can now simply just drag and drop onto the stage and you'll have all the controls there, like making phone calls, logging in, checking your voicemail, and contact information. So essentially, there's no coding needed to add a telephony service to a Flash application in Flash. So it becomes very easy. The designer now can just skin the components. They can really just go through, make them look as fancy as they want to, and they don't have to worry about coding and worry about the API and what is behind the scenes there. So for the Flex developers, these are developers and not designers. These are coders. These are the ones that like to sit down for hours and write code and get into the API. So we came up with easy to use API. It's very easy and quick to add the functionality using the SDK. As you'll see, it's about 4 lines of code to get it into your application and to start working with it. The nice thing about Flex and developers is you got code hinting. So as you're going through the API, you can automatically see as you type words, you hit dot and then it'll let you know what other attributes are available with that command. So, and the other neat thing about it is you can use what you actually need. With the Flash controls, you're basically tied to everything that's inside of that control. Where with the Flex, you can become more customizable. You can actually play around with exactly what you need inside of the API.